It was a gathering of cardinals, archbishops, and bishops from across the country. They are here at the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria for their first plenary meeting for 2025. The opening mass was officiated by the CBCN President, Most Reverend Lucius Iwejuru Ugoji. In his homily, Archbishop Kaigama called on Nigerians to desist from empty religiosity.
I call on Nigerians to be true to our worship of God. Enough of external religiosity, empty religious symbols, erection of monumental places of worship, competition for religious superiority or supremacy, and doing everything to outdo one another by parading religion instead of taking our religious values. We are good in this country in parading our religion. Let people know we are of this faith, but we are not good in living out the religious values, those virtues of our religion. To love your neighbor, to be patient, to forgive, to help. We are not so good. When you get into a position of authority, it's all about I, me, and myself.
He further charged Nigerians to fast from corruption, hatred, and other vices, stating that there is hope for Nigeria if Muslims and Christians can live out the essence of their fasting.
As we Christians journey towards Easter, let us use this time to pray fervently for our country, to fast from corruption and hatred, and to give generously to those in need. As a church in Nigeria, we must recommit ourselves to being the light at this world's darkness. We must lead by example in honesty, service, and love. We must call for justice, advocate for the poor, and reject all forms of oppression.
After the Mass, the opening ceremony began with the enthronement of the Word of God. The CBCN President, during his remark, raised concern over the worsening insecurity, youth unemployment, and the deplorable state of our correctional centers.
Nigerians have continued to endure increasing hardship on account of the harsh socio-economic situation in the country, including high costs of petroleum products, transportation, and essential goods. While the economic reforms introduced by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration aims at stabilizing the economy on the long term, they have significantly triggered skyrocketing inflation, drastically reduced the purchasing power of Nigerians, and plunged millions into poverty. Insecurity still persists and is even getting worse across the nation as the armies of the Boko Haram, bandits, unknown gunmen, and Fulani herdsmen continue to grow in number as well as in acts of wickedness and barbarism. This dismal atmosphere seems to condemn many jobless youths to a life of purposelessness and despair, and is leading many of them into involvement in criminal activities, including kidnapping, armed robbery, drug abuse, Yahoo Plus, and cultism in search of extraordinary spiritual powers for instant prosperity without working for it.
I am still very new to the country, so I don't presume to give any advice today at this very first meeting. I am coming here to listen, to share to what you have to offer to, and I look forward to that sharing opportunity in these coming days. I look forward to getting to know you, to getting to know your diocese, and to getting to know the lived experience of the Catholic Church in Nigeria.
The theme of this first plenary session, Jubilee of Hope, a light for a better Nigeria, invites us to strengthen our relationship with our Creator, to reflect on our relationship with one another and with the entire creation in the light of God's will. It inspires us to give courageous leadership to efforts geared towards drastically reducing the level of wickedness in the Nigerian society and to rekindle the hope in others for a new nation of abundance and joy. As we all know, our country, Nigeria, has been wallowed in hopelessness and despair for a long time. Many of our fellow citizens are at their breaking points, while some have given up hope entirely in the midst of extreme conditions of hunger, poverty, insecurity, and disease.
The gathering brought together clergy, the religious and lay faithful who came to listen to their chief shepherd.
A lot of promises made during campaigns are not being kept. There's insecurity in the land, there's a lot of suffering. It still has not made Nigerians lose hope, because you find a lot of Nigerians doing uncommon things to survive. Some of them are bad, like some have gone into scamming and some are fraudsters. But those are not the examples we are looking at. We are looking at the new generation who are doing things outside the normal to survive. A lot of them are not looking for employment anymore. They are doing things, creative things, thinking out of the box on how to survive, and they are doing very well. So for me, that represents hope. And the story I gave, there are so many of such stories of people, despite the hardship, finding large sums of money and returning. It still shows you there are good people in this country. So people who are the people who represent positive hope for me. And I think what we need to do as a church is bring about programs that will help us, encourage people like that, so that we are not looking at the reward of now. We are looking at the reward of the future.
To appraise our past and forge a way for the future, to ensure that we do the right thing, particularly at this time of the Lent, that we look at our past and see how we can purge ourselves from our sins and breathe up a new leaf. Just like this is a time for spring, when you see the little rains, you see flowers growing. The Lenten time offers us opportunity to look to our past and see how we can reconcile ourselves with God. And when we're with God, what we do is the right thing, because we must aspire to go to heaven. And if we don't put ourselves to go to heaven, I'm sorry, it's a very, very bad omen.
The theme for the first plenary meeting is Jubilee of Hope, a light for a new Nigeria. In Abuja, Tony Abba, CTV News.